Alright, so now that I have the cylinder heads, all the cylinder head bolts back in this, I only finger tighten them for right now because you don't want to tighten these because on these motors, one way of working on these to make sure your cylinders are aligned is you have to put this V plate on. And this is what goes on the carburetor. There's a gasket here, there's one here, and those go on the cylinder barrels here on the back. Now, basically these here the V-plate nuts that go on it, they're torqued to the same torque specs as what's on these. On the crankcase bolts, as well as the cylinder head bolts, they're, I usually tighten them to 15 foot-pounds, but the shop manual says 14 to 16 foot-pounds. Now, what you want to do is make sure that this here's lined up properly. And you have a little opening right here where your cooling fins are. Well, that there matches with this round piece right here, so... sometimes you have to move these around a little tiny bit. May have to kind of loosen these a little tiny bit. And again, these are you only put these on so that they're finger tight. That way you can line your V plate up. Now, as you can see, these are loose to an extent. And you always want to make sure there's no dirt or anything on these. They're new gaskets. And they usually slide on like that. And I always want to double check and make sure that the gaskets didn't go lopsided or anything. Which they didn't. And now that that's on, you can install these washers. And put these nuts back on. Just doing so that they're finger tight. Now, when this V plate, when these are torqued on each side, I torque them to 15 foot-pounds. That way I know that my cylinder barrels are aligned. And then the second step to it is finishing the torque sequence on these, and they're supposed to be 15 foot-pounds is what I torque them to, and I always do them in a crisscross pattern, so I tighten one here, one here, one here, and then one here. So I do them in an X. Now, I do have a mechanic's tool chest over there, so I kind of bring some of my tools over here so that I can... it's easier to work when you have a workbench, and right now I don't have one. Now, you can usually buy these torque wrenches at a Canadian Tire. They usually sell them for about $20 to $30, but they're usually about $20. You can get one of these for, and I also have a click type torque wrench as well. Now, these have a gauge on them, so you can see on the gauge what this goes up to, and you usually only want this to go to 15 foot-pounds. So that's a little mark in between the 10 and the 20. That's your 15 foot-pounds. That's 15 foot-pounds right there. And again, you want to double check your work just to make sure that everything's all tickety-poo, which it is. And now you can go ahead with finishing up with torquing these, and the same process of torque to I torqued them to 15 foot-pounds. You want to do these in a crisscross pattern. Just want to do them so that they're snug. You want to do this with both sides. I mean, this is a twin-cylinder motor. It ain't a single, although some snowmobiles they do make they're only single-cylinder, such as Ski-Doo Olympic, Ski-Doo Lands, Ski-Doo Citation they made as well, and there's other various other machines that they made, such as Ski-Doo Alpines, and Moto Ski, they're a pretty good make as well. Although they don't make them anymore because what happened, Bombardier had bought Moto Ski out. So basically, they turned into Ski-Doo, which is still in production to this day, making snowmobiles. And what better way to have fun in the wintertime than playing out in the field or ripping through the backwoods on a snowmobile, right? Now, sometimes what I like to do when I'm working on these is, now that I have most of the work done to this right now, I usually set that on the floor. That way I can use my feet sometimes as a way to hold the motor down, seeing as how I don't really have a workbench I can work at right now. And again, I'll finish torquing these, and again, they go to 15 foot-pounds. This so if they're at about 5 to about maybe 10 foot-pounds, because I want to do them in a crisscross pattern. That way I know that everything's going to be sealed the right way.